There we go.
All right, we are live on air with Max Denenberg and my good friend Ty Simpkins, and we have a huge episode 1 today. We will be talking about the DCEU. We're going to be ranking all 8 of those movies. Each of us, we're going to go 8, 8, so forth and so forth. And then Star Wars. We both are addicted to Star Wars, and we're going to talk about that from 12 to 1. If you guys are just joining us here live on my YouTube channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like content like movie news, movie reviews, and stuff like that. And also, don't forget to hit a like button on this video. Ty, tell everyone what the comment section, what the people should be doing throughout the broadcast.
Yeah, so throughout the broadcast, I want you guys to ask questions about just kind of our movie choices of our rankings and just kind of stuff like that, and just try and keep it like related to our lists and the topic, and of course as many prequel memes as you can in the chat.
And also keep it nice. We're both, even though we're both going to disagree with each other, but do it in a nice way. We don't love to like hurt each other with our different opinions. We know that Star Wars, especially, people get really hurt with their opinions.
Especially me, but yeah.
All right. So you want to get started, Ty?
Yes, let's get started.
So we're gonna start out with the DCEU. We have 8 movies, and how it's gonna work is that Ty's gonna give me his 8. He's gonna explain why. It'll be my, and then I'll go to my 8, and then we'll just pinball back and forth until we get to our number 1. So Ty, tell us your number 8, and tell us why is this the worst movie in the DCEU?
So before I get into it, I just want to say I do enjoy these movies. They're all very fun and entertaining. So before, and you know, a lot of people worked really hard on these, and I respect the hell out of all of that. And I don't mean any disrespect by this list in any way.
Good start. Good start.
Yeah. So my number 8 is Suicide Squad. You know, there wasn't a lot of memorable moments for me. The three the 3 things I really remember about it are Harley Quinn, Joker, and Will Smith, and his relationship with his daughter in that movie, and that's something I really enjoyed. But that was pretty much it. You know, I don't really remember it that much. I did really like Jared Leto as Joker. Yeah. Wait. No. That's. Yeah. No.
Jared Leto's in it. Yeah. I'm just giving you like, oh, you really
I know. Yeah. Like. That, I mean, that's kind of it. It just wasn't really memorable for me, and I don't really remember it very well. So that's just kind of why it's ranked so low.
Yeah, I completely agree, because my number 8 is Suicide Squad. Pretty bad movie overall. I think there's 2 standouts, and that's Will Smith playing Deadshot and Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I don't hate Jared Leto as the Joker. I just think he didn't get enough screen time to warrant the hate he deserved, that he got, because he really was a cameo in the movie. I know, like, he shot a lot more scenes than that, and they cut it, which was a shame, because I would like to see him and Margot's relationship. Lucas says Jared Leto was ass. Well, that's just an opinion. But overall, I think the movie has a really weak villain. Cara Delevingne's the dancing at the end was really bad. And would you be interested in seeing like a director's cut of this movie? We're already getting one of Snyder's cut. That's the big rumor, that we would get an air cut of this movie. What do you think about that?
I'd love to. I mean, I love director's cuts. You know, even if I didn't quite enjoy the movie, I love director's cuts just because they're longer and they're more fun, and you get everything that director did. Like, I love the Lord of the Rings
extended cuts.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm really excited for Snyder Cut, and I'm really excited if we would get a Suicide Squad director's cut. I would love to. I would watch it. Yeah.
Ty, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Birds of Prey. And I mean, like I said, I enjoyed all these movies. They're all very close, but Birds of Prey, again, it just wasn't very memorable for me. But I did Margot Robbie, and that was amazing.
Yeah,
and it was a very fun movie overall, and I did have a lot of fun watching it. I would watch it again in a heartbeat, but yeah, it's just, you know, it wasn't very, you know, strong for me as some of, like, I feel like some of these other movies were stronger. But yeah.
My number 7 is Justice League. Justice League, I really struggle with. I've seen it 2 times, and I really just rewatched it because of the Batman movies. And I think the problem with this movie for me is that Batman is a total like different character from Batman v Superman. It was like they flipped Ben Affleck completely around, and he was also a jerk throughout the whole movie to Wonder Woman, especially. And also, Steppenwolf is probably the weakest villain we've gotten so far, in my opinion, in the DCEU. People are agreeing with you. Birds of Prey was worse than Suicide Squad. Says, well, interesting point. Haven't really heard that one before. But in general, I think Justice League has a really good cast. I remember hating Cyborg and the actor Ray Stone, but I actually enjoyed his performance in my rewatch. But I'm really excited for the Snyder Cut. I mean, the trailer looked great. The fact we're going to get more Henry Cavill as in a possible lead role as Superman. But the CGI was awful in the original cut in the third act, where it was a mess. But Aquaman, I think, was better in this than he was in his own movie, in my opinion. He was a lot funnier in this movie, and it's not the worst movie of all time, but for me, it just doesn't really work, especially following Batman v Superman. What is your number 6?
My number 6 is Batman v Superman.
Okay.
I will say though, the parts where they're actually fighting are the parts in cinematic history. The fight scenes were insanely well done. The dream sequence I thought was really cool, and a lot of people hated that. I really enjoyed it. Where we got to see that like cool like vigilante Batman just taking out all like the Superman soldiers and stuff, and I just thought that was really cool. And it was an insanely fun movie, and I enjoyed it. My favorite superhero is Superman, so obviously I'm gonna enjoy that movie. But there wasn't enough fighting. That's what there wasn't enough fight between Batman and Superman. I really wish that they had more of that, and they had more confrontation between the two. And I just wish they had like more tension and more. Yeah, but when they did fight, it was the best movie of all time.
Yeah, and that is my number 6 as well, Ty, because I agree with you. I think also I think what's great about Ben Affleck as his character is that his Bruce Wayne is really solid because he's already been Batman for 20 years.
Yeah,
and he's already been through it all. But he sees obviously Superman as this next potential villain. They're both really great, and when they fight, it's great. And seeing Amy Adams return as Lois Lane is also great. But the movie kind of slips when Jesse Eisenberg comes on screen once in a while. And I'm a big Jesse Eisenberg fan, but this is total miscasting as Lex Luthor.
I agree with that. I think Jesse Eisenberg's performance was phenomenal, but it's just not the Lex Luthor that I think the fans want and the fans deserve.
And tonally too, he's out of place. Like he's trying to make jokes a lot of the time while trying to be super, super evil. And the villain too at the end also didn't really work. And I feel like the death of Superman was rushed into the ending.
And it's not just that; it's also like, like they hated him throughout that entire movie, and then they gave him a whole funeral, very honorable death kind of thing. It's just kind of like, that seems a little misplaced, So.
But I would say also that the Snyder cut of this movie, the director's cut of this movie, is way better than the original cut as well. If you hate this movie and you haven't seen the original cut, I would recommend it because it does make this movie better. Like I enjoy this movie. I think it's like average. Like I have a lot of fun with it, but for me, there's way too much going on. Wonder Woman though also is really good in it when she is on screen, especially the ending when she comes in. I get goosebumps every time she shows up in that third act. But I agree with this. What do you think about this? You think he would be working better as an Edward Enigma, which is the Riddler? What do you think Jesse Eisenberg would look better in that type of role?
Oh yeah, no, he would kill it. He would 100% kill it. I would love to see him as Riddler.
Yeah, I think that would make a lot more sense because he could be a lot more over the top than he was. I don't think. Chilling movies. We're about to get to our favorites, or at least our Suicide Squad. We're going to get to our favorites in a bit. Ty, we're heading into our top 5 here, so let's move into that. What is your number 5?
Aquaman.
My
number 5 is Aquaman. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. the CGI at times was like for like simple things like explosions was a little weak.
Mhm.
Um, and uh, Aquaman as a character, I definitely agree was better in Justice League.
Mhm.
And you know, he was just more badass in Justice League. And I mean, already I don't really like Aquaman as a hero
Mhm.
to begin with, but you know, Jason Momoa definitely made me enjoy and love that character just because it's a different look than what we've seen him. You know, like I have never really been a huge Aquaman fan, so the only one that I know of is the lawyer who's like blonde and wears
Yeah.
stupid mermaid man and barnacle boy outfit. Um,
Mhm.
but you know, with this whole like new take on like he's like this like rogue and stuff, I just thought that was all really cool.
Yeah.
And just in Justice League when he just like takes off his shirt and he goes in the freezing cold water.
Yeah.
I wish we got more stuff like that, and like that whole shot where he has the beer and he like throws it. Like I wish we had more stuff like that in Aquaman. Um,
Mhm.
Again, I did love it. I thought the acting was good. Loved seeing Patrick Wilson in it, and I love that James directed it. And you know,
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun in the movie watching the movie.
And once again, we have to agree here. Aquaman is my number 5. I think it's a really fun movie. First of all, like I have a lot of fun with it. I think Momoa, even though he's really good in the role, but I think the strongest part of the movie are the two villains here. Patrick Wilson as King Orm is super strong, even though he's kind of the by the numbers older brother type of scenario with Momoa. But also Black Manta, who is underused, and it looks like he'll be the next big bad heading into the next one, which I'm really excited for. But we're also really good villains, and also his perspective that really Aquaman killed his dad, really, and let his dad die in that ship in the opening of the movie. It definitely hits you hard because a superhero wouldn't really do that necessarily.
Yeah,
But the movie is way too by the numbers. Nicole Kidman's twist at the end, you could kind of see coming. Um, Also, it doesn't really seem like Momoa is that is an older brother to Patrick Wilson at all. Sometimes that doesn't really click all the time.
yeah,
But and Dolph Lundgren's in the movie too. But I think not everything totally clicks. I also think Mara and Aquaman's romance isn't the best, but I think that the movie still works for the most part. And Ellie says Aquaman is the best DC movie I've ever seen, but I'm sure they will recast. Yeah, I've been talking about that a lot because obviously Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are part of this huge situation where Johnny Depp might not come back for the Harry Potter movies, and Amber Heard might not come back for the Aquaman movies. What would you think about that?
me. I mean, that'd be very. You know, that. I mean, it'd be sad. I don't like it when franchises recast their characters, but I understand why they would, and I understand why they would take a step back from those roles and kind of play it low key for a little bit. But again, you know, like that's still, you know, yeah, that's kind of
Yeah, I agree. And as this person said, Manto was definitely awesome. I'm really excited for my brother. His music was really really good. Let's move into our number 4 here. 4 movies left. Ty, what do you got?
number 4. I got Shazam.
Shazam. Okay.
Shazam. I loved Shazam. I thought, you know, when I first saw it, I was on the fence. And then as I thought about it more, I was like, you know what? That was a solid movie, very funny. The one problem, the biggest problem I have with it is because I'm a huge Henry Cavill fan, huge Superman fan. I wanted him in that last scene, and
Yeah.
seeing the head cut off was just annoying. I mean, I understand there were like scheduling conflicts and just some weird internal like uh stuff going on there with DC and Henry Cavill. But I still would have really loved to see him and in there and even play a bigger role in that movie because Shazam and Superman like do have a lot of like adventures together and stuff like that. And I would have liked to see some of that. And I hope that we get to see that in the future Shazam movies and the future Superman movies. But I definitely think it was a good, fresh kind of uh, fresh thing from DC because in the past they have tried to stick to more dramatic movies, and here I feel like we got a good like comedic movie. And even though
Yeah.
I want them to make I really like DC because they do make more dramatic movies, and I think it's an interesting take on superheroes. Um, so I wouldn't like to see every DC movie do that, but I would like to see more of that. And yeah.
Yeah, and my number 4 is Birds of Prey. Now, Birds of Prey moves in my number 4. The reason why Birds of Prey for me is number 4 is I think it's the best hand-to-hand combat that we've gotten so far, action scene-wise, action set pieces, I think, that we've gotten so far in the DCEU. And also, I think just Margot Robbie was like born to play this character. She's so funny, but such a badass at the same time. And also, I think Black Mask too. Even though he doesn't really get a lot of background, I think Ewan McGregor had a lot of fun in the movie. He has a lot of intense scenes.
That's hard.
But I think the problem with the movie as a whole is that it didn't really give enough characterization for the Birds of Prey themselves. Like, it just felt like a Margot Robbie movie. They tried to give Black Canary some background. Huntress barely gets anything. Rosie Perez doesn't really get anything. So the team up aspect for me never really worked. But when Margot Robbie's on screen kicking butt and Ewan McGregor is having a blast being this villain, I really enjoy the movie. I know it has flaws, and I agree with the flaws. I think it's a solid, fun movie. And this person you're gonna like here.
Yeah, no, I saw that, and I was waiting for you to finish to talk about this because
so let's talk about it. So we have The Rock, who is obviously going to be Black Adam now, and we're going to see some footage from that at the DC Comic-Con. Superman and Shazam. I mean, would that blow your mind?
It would literally be like, oh my gosh, I am so excited for that. I mean, The Rock and Henry Cavill are two of my favorite actors. So to see them in a movie fighting each other, that'd be so cool. I mean, like when I was younger, there was this animated movie that I would watch called Superman and Shazam versus Black Adam.
Yeah.
And now I kind of get to see that come to play in live action with some of my favorite actors, and that's just like a dream come true. That's awesome. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I am too. And the Canary Cry came out. Yeah, it didn't really make sense in what the movie was going for at that point of the movie. I agree. Keep your questions coming in, but we will be doing Q&A at the end of our both rankings. Top 3 here. Let's go faster here for the top 3 because we don't have enough time to talk about Star Wars. So let's go. Number 3. What is your number 3?
Justice League.
Wow.
I really enjoyed Justice League. I loved Batfleck. So here's what I'll say about that. The scene where they resurrect Superman and he just goes like all of them. That's what Batman versus Superman should have been. I think it should have just 2 hours of that. And because I feel like we really got to see like the full force of Superman there, because if you remember back in Batman v Superman, he wasn't trying to kill Batman. He wasn't trying to, he wasn't trying to fight. Batman was the one trying to fight. And so now we get to see Superman being the one trying to fight. And that's like the moments like that are the ones that I just loved. Because if you listen closely to the soundtrack during like times when these characters are on screen, we get little glimpses of their original theme songs from like the early movies that were made about. And I loved the homage to that, and just really the final fight in the I don't remember where they are. They're in some building, right?
At the end,
yeah. And when Superman comes in, I went crazy. I was so excited for all that. Just like I mean, I really wish we got more Superman in that movie. If we did, it would probably be ranked higher on my list. But I thought it was funny at times. I love the bit where Bruce Wayne is talking to Aquaman, and he asks him if he can talk to fish. And there's with the blood sugar stuff, and I just thought that was like, just really like fun and just like a good break from like all of the action that was going on there, and just kind of showing that like they are people and friends and friendly towards each other, but they're still learning how to bond and work as a team, which is cool and fun to see.
I also think it could be the really best Superman we've gotten from Cavill so far too in that movie. That's why I'm really excited for the Snyder Cut. as well. My number 3, Shazam. Really the same tone as you. Really funny movie. Really good. I think it's probably the best like related like his story with his adopted family really hits home emotionally for me. And I think Mark Strong kills it as the villain as well. And he's alive at the end, which is cool. But I think the movie does at times go for way too much comedy at times, but I love the movie. Like I rewatch it all the time. Like such an easy watch. The action is great. And you really, I also like the villain background. Like Mark Strong's character gets screwed as a kid. Like he isn't chosen to be Shazam. So that's why he has that in to get him. So I have a lot of fun with Shazam. I'm really pumped to see Shazam 2 and how Black Adam will mix into this. And also Superman, as someone alluded to, Solve and Polar Studios did earlier as well. Keep your questions coming. Top two, Ty. What is your number? I think we have the same 1 and 2. So let's just let's do it together. So both our number 2s are Wonder Woman, and both our number 1s are Man of Steel. So let's first talk about Wonder Woman.
The reason why it's not my number 1 is because I feel like it's basically just Captain America, the first Avenger. But it was still a great movie. I had a lot of fun watching it. I loved Chris Pine in it. That was amazing. And just the relationship between those two and the chemistry was awesome and heartbreaking when Chris Pine dies.
Yes, dies. Yes.
Dies, yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. And it was because at the time I didn't actually like Man of Steel because I had only seen it once, and it was when I was a kid, and I just didn't have the attention span to watch it, and I wanted to watch Despicable Me 2, and I was really mad that we wanted to go see that. But so at the time, it was like the first DC movie that I actually liked, so yeah, that was just like, yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
I agree. I think I actually love this movie for the first 2 acts. I think her backstory is super interesting. I think Gal Gadot is also just fantastic. I think she's great as Wonder Woman. Chris Pine, once again, has never been bad in my opinion. He's one of my favorite actors working today. But for me, where the movie falls apart for me is that the 3rd act is super weak for me for how great of a movie it was. I think that now I'm cool with extra non-human villains, but when Ares was just explaining everything, it just pulled me out of the movie because there was so much tension of Chris Pine getting on the plane and stuff. But then we had to wait for Ares to give us exposition to Wonder Woman, and it just took me out of the movie. It's not what the movie was built on, too. Like Wonder Woman should have been the villains were really the doctor, the scientist, and I would have liked. It didn't really need to be a huge fist fight at the end, but I think overall that's what holds it back for number 1. Thoughts on how you think Wonder Woman 1984 will be? I am really pumped for Wonder Woman 1984. I think the cast is actually better for this one. Added Kristen Wiig as Cheetah and Pedro Pascal as the big villain in the movie. And Chris Pine's back, which I'm actually happy about, and I love putting Wonder Woman in the 80s. But I'm not hearing amazing things from people who've the movie at Warner Brothers, and it got pushed. But I'm really excited for it. Ty, are you excited for 1984?
Can't say I'm overly excited for it. I'm gonna go watch it, obviously. And like I want to see it and stuff like that, but I don't like that they're going retro. Marvel really been shooting a lot of retro stuff out recently, like just like a retro vibe in their movies, and I don't like that Wonder Woman is now, and DC is now latching onto that. It's just kind of like I want to see them create and do their own things and create their own trends. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at with it. But obviously, I'm excited to see the story and Chris Pine in it again, and yeah. So sure, I'm half excited.
And let's talk about Man of Steel, which is our both number 1s, and I love this movie to death. I really think it's a really great movie. Henry Cavill again nails it, but for me, Zod is awesome in this movie. Like I'm a huge Michael Shannon guy. Are you guys going to be doing more of this live stuff? We'll talk about that at the end of the video. But you know, Man of Steel's a good movie. Like the casting is there. Like Lawrence Fishburne, even as Perry White, is great casting. Kevin Costner, I mean, unbelievable performance too as his dad. Like I don't think we got that type of relationship with Superman's parents before, even in the Christopher Reeves one, because Kevin Costner and Diane Keaton are fantastic in their parental roles for Superman. And I think the ending the fight scene does go on for a really long time, and at times it does really drag because they're just going from building to building to building. But I think as a whole, it's easily my favorite DCEU movie, and I'm really hoping we get to see a Man of Steel too.
I would love to see a Man of Steel too. Definitely. I mean, it's my favorite DC movie. It's one of my favorite superhero movies. So and it's just like you said. I mean, the ending did go on a little long. I like when I first watched it, I didn't like that it was like that at all. It seemed lazy.
Yeah.
But now that like I'm like older and stuff, I really appreciate all that stuff. And you know, I think it's badass that he's just like literally like grabbing him and like throwing him into a building and like breaking it down and stuff. And that's really cool. And I thought it was really cool that in Batman v Superman, we really got to see like the aftermath of it. Because that's something that we've never really seen in a movie at this point to like this scale. Of like literally just like the consequences of a superhero destroying an entire city in one of the biggest cities in their world. And so I like that tie-in, and it made me appreciate Man of Steel more, which is why it's so high on my list. And you know, Henry Cavill kills it. I mean, like it was the first movie that I've seen him in, and it just really made me like a fan of him. And so yeah, I love Man of Steel, and I think it's a great. Zod is amazing, like you said, Kevin Costner. Like relationship with like the father-son relationship hit me hard. Like it's just, you know, like it was heartbreaking when he died. And yeah, no, I loved it.
Yeah. So that's our DCEU rankings, guys. If you keep putting in your questions here, because at the end of our Star Wars ranking, we're going to take a couple Q&A questions. So even if they're not going to be answered now, they will be answered by the end. Especially, also, I'll just answer this one really quickly. What is your ranking of the Batman? I actually have my full ranking on this YouTube channel right now of all 10 Batman live action movies. So if you want to check that out, it's already on my YouTube channel. So please check that out. So we're going to move in here to Star Wars, which is what I've been waiting for to talk about. Ty and I, we both saw Rise of Skywalker together last in December. We're both pretty much diehard. We both seen Clone Wars, the show. We both seen Rebels. We know a lot. So this is going to be controversial. So as I said before we started this live stream, if you disagree with us, because I know Ty's one of his top couple will be very much controversial. So if you disagree with that, also keep it nice in the chat. We want to keep this community really nice for all of us. And if we have 15 people watching and 12 likes, if you guys are in the video and you haven't liked the video, please hit that like button and already hit that subscribe button. So let's move on to our Star Wars ranking. We have 11 movies, so we're going to be much faster with this one. I'll start. My number 11 is easily Attack of the Clones. I mean, I'm the biggest Star Wars fan, and it's the only one I usually skip on rewatches. It's pretty unwatchable. Anakin and Padme have no chemistry whatsoever. It's way too CGI. That the clone troopers are not actually like stormtroopers like they were in the original trilogy. Even though Obi-Wan is great in this, as Ewan McGregor was talked about in our DC ranking, he's amazing as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Again, him and Jango Fett have some good interactions. But as a whole, the movie is pretty dumb. Anakin is too whiny in this movie as well. So that will move on to Ty. What is your number 11?
My number 11 is The Last Jedi.
Uh-oh.
Did not like the movie. It's no disrespect to Rian Johnson. He's a very talented director. I love Knives Out, and I think he's a great filmmaker. It's just I
Yeah.
don't think he should be making Star Wars movies. It's not the type of movie that he normally would make, and it's not a type of movie that I feel like that we should be taking risks with. I think we have like a solid kind of formula for a good Star Wars movie, and I didn't
Yeah.
really see that in The Last Jedi. I want a solid, good lightsaber fight, not the throne room scene, which sure was cool, but if like it's not a lightsaber fight. I want a lightsaber fight where they're going up again, prequel freaking swooping
Yeah.
around everywhere, super fast flips, jumps, all of it. I want all of it. I want the intensity in there, and I didn't see it in that movie. And
I see
that
your point.
does not. You know who I did love in it?
In Last Jedi, you mean?
Yeah. I'm blanking on his name. I don't know why.
Adam Driver?
No, the smuggler, the one who like screws him over. And
Oh, Benicio del Toro.
yes, I loved him in that movie. It was my favorite part of the movie. I think he was amazing in it, and that is something that I will take away and always remember from that movie because he was so good in it.
And by the way, Mandy Plays says, what are your thoughts on Clone Wars? We're going to talk about that at the end in a Q&A. So we really want to talk about because I love that show. My number 10 is Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace for me is just average. I mean, the movie is, I think, the most boring Star Wars movie we've gotten so far. I think Liam Neeson, good as Qui-Gon Jinn, Ewan McGregor, not in the movie enough for me. Jar Jar also tanks the movie a lot at times. I also think Jake Lloyd was terrible as Anakin. Didn't really connect with Anakin as a kid whatsoever. There were also a lot of plot conveniences, like, for example, Anakin already having a child's helmet when he took it when he was getting into the ship at the end of the movie. Like, that didn't really make a lot of sense. But nothing beats Duel of the Fates. It's not my favorite score from Star Wars or my favorite lightsaber battle, but it's still, I think, the best hand-to-hand combat we've gotten in Star Wars before. And Qui-Gon's death is really brutal, and it quickly sets up into Clone Wars how important Maul is into the fold. What are your thoughts on number 10?
My number 10 is Rise of Skywalker.
Wow. Okay.
Again, did not see the lightsaber fight I wanted. I hated the back and forth of, did they die? No, they didn't.
Yeah.
We got that like 3 or 4 times, and that's way too much. That's way too much. And it's just like I was really disappointed and let down. I really thought that bringing the Emperor back was a cop out. And I didn't like that Kylo turned good. I didn't like that they kissed.
Or did I?
I didn't like the back and forth of the force healing, or anything like that. And it really just didn't. And the entire time they're setting up this whole thing of it doesn't matter who you are, or what your last name is, or what your family is. You can really strive to do anything. And then she takes the last name of Skywalker, which I didn't like at all. It wasn't. It's just like, no, like the whole point of you literally just set up the entire message, and now you're just throwing it away in the trash. And it's just, I don't know. It didn't seem like a good ending to the saga. I feel like Return of the Jedi was. I mean, like I want more Star Wars movies, and I'm really happy that we got more and we're getting more. But I thought that Return of the Jedi was just a better closed, ending to the sequel, and I don't like that they're kind of. Yeah.
It's a fair point. My number 9 is Solo. I think Solo is a fun movie, but it's the most unnecessary movie in the Star Wars world. I didn't really feel like we needed a background on Han Solo. I do think Alden Ehrenreich was fine in the role. Like, he didn't do anything. People are trashing him. He was not that bad in the movie. Paul Bettany was also really good as the villain. Dryden Voss. Beckett, Woody Harrelson was good. Lando steals the show. Donald Glover is also probably one of the best actors, one of the best talents we have right now in entertainment, and he kills it. I would actually want a TV series of Solo where you have like a Crimson Dawn, Darth Maul, Amelia Clarke TV show with Solo mixing in and out of the show, because I don't think we need another movie. I think the box office showed that no one really wanted to see a Han Solo movie, and no one was asking for it, and that's why it didn't really make its money. Because one, it changed directors multiple times. I think I would have loved to see a Phil Lord, Chris Miller, because they haven't gone wrong for me as directors yet. And Ron Howard had to finish up, but I think it's also the weakest score that we've gotten in Star Wars. And I think that it's a fun movie, but because if you know Star Wars, you know the Kessel Run. You've heard it a million times, and they made that the big climax of the movie. So that's why it's my number 9.
My number 9 is also Solo.
Mm-hmm.
When I first saw it, I enjoyed it a lot.
Me too.
But thinking about it afterwards and rewatching it, it was just kind of like, it was just disappointing. And I'm blanking on that actor's name who played Han.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah, so I didn't think he did a good job with Han. I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I'm just saying he didn't do a good job with playing the character, and the script did not help him at all either. So it's not his fault. The script really just kind of butchered the character and made him this like soft boy, which no. If they were gonna do this, I would have liked to see a younger Han, not a 20-something-year-old Han, like a 17 or 16-year-old, maybe even like 18 or 19 Han. Just I feel like that would have made a more interesting story, and just kind of seeing how he got his roots and how he kind of did that. And my favorite part of the movie though was Woody Harrelson.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, and I love the kind of mentor relationship that he had with Han, and the father-son relationship that they kind of had, and how Han looked up to him, but also didn't trust him and knew not to trust him. Yeah, I loved his character and his aspect and his take on it.
Yeah, I think we both agree with what both our points are. I mean, it was very well casted. Just the script and the confusion of who's directing the movie just killed it.
Yeah.
As well as people not needing it. You know, people didn't really want it in the first place. My number 8 is Last Jedi. Yeah, this movie gets better for me every time I watch it. I came out of it, I was like, I felt disappointed. I still do, because for me, Luke's death is handled for me very poorly.
I agree.
Because especially out of the 3 leads, Han, Leia, and Luke, he gets the weaker end of the stick of deaths, in my opinion. But I'm a huge fan of Kylo Ren. I think he's the best part of this trilogy, and this is his movie, and he's unbelievably good in this movie. I also think this is one of my favorite scores in the franchise, top 3 for me. And also, it's the most beautiful looking Star Wars movie. Like, Rian Johnson is a really good director, as Ty said earlier. And I think he does a great job with the look of Star Wars. Now, there's a lot that's wrong. The casino plot line makes absolutely no sense. It doesn't really help the plot at all. Rose and Finn's romance doesn't work for me once again at all. Poe seems on the sideline way too much in the movie. But the Leia also is good, but she's also on the sidelines a lot. So I just think the look of it is great. The score is fantastic, and Kylo's good. But other than that, I find the film to be a bit dull at times.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
My number 8 is The Force Awakens, and now at number 8, I'm gonna say all of these movies are insanely close together of how much I like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Force Awakens, I really enjoyed it. I loved it when I saw it 19 times in theaters, I want to say. I loved it. It was a great reintroduction to the Star Wars universe after all this time, and Daisy Ridley did such a good job in it, and J.J. Abrams did an amazing job, and really recreated the feelings that we kind of had, and the wonder that Star Wars has. And Harrison Ford in it is so good, and John Boyega I really liked in this one. I really liked Finn in this movie, and that first scene where they're all landing on the planet and Kylo comes out and they're looking for the map. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then the ending when they find Luke, that was really awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a fun movie itself. I'll talk to that in a bit. My number 7 is The Rise of Skywalker. For me, it's a really fun movie. Like, I was never born Rise of Skywalker, but it's probably the dumbest movie we've gotten so far. The plot is so convenient, so out of left field, and at times doesn't really make a lot of sense. One, Palpatine, not necessary, because the problem with these, and we'll talk about it in a bit too, probably in our Q&A too, just how the trilogy just didn't have good connective tissue, throughout. The movie it was like Ryan Johnson killed Snoke, and I feel like JJ wanted Snoke to be the main bad of the franchise. They were like, oh, so we need another guy to come in and out power. I think Kylo as the Supreme Leader would have been just fine as our main villain. We didn't need another guy to be on top of Kylo. Kylo needed to have his own movie where no one answers. He doesn't have to answer to anyone. The kiss at the end, really, really corny, and it didn't really make sense because Rey killed him earlier in the movie, but some reason they're still in love. Poe, though, was really good. Seeing his backstory was interesting, but Hux as the spy made no sense. Just some of the plot lines. It was just a dumb movie. It was a fun movie. The ending is super satisfying with a lot of fan service. But that's my number 7.
Oh yeah, with the fan service, bringing Liam Neeson back, that was awesome.
Yes,
was cool. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, number 7. My number 7 is Rogue One. I loved Rogue One. Rogue One was so cool. It was it was something that we have never seen before, because I felt like it was like a war. It was more of like a war movie than anything. And that's like something I've always wanted to see in a Star Wars movie, and I would still like them to see it take it to the next level and do like a war drama. But I think like it's just, I mean, like, I don't know. It's not my favorite because the original 6 are obviously, they beat everything to me. So I definitely did really love that movie, and I really enjoy it. And I forget their names, but the two guys that they meet on
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the one who prays to the Force and protects the kyber crystals and stuff.
Yeah.
I loved their aspect, and I was really sad when he died.
Yeah.
I think that was the saddest death to me. I didn't. Oh, but the thing that does the entire movie for me is the end with Darth Vader. I was legitimately scared watching that. I felt fear.
Yeah.
I felt like we saw like the full wrath of Darth Vader, something that we've never got to see before.
I agree. Darth Vader is really great in that movie.
Oh, and I love director Krennic. He's awesome.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's great.
Happy you brought that up for sure. Yeah. Let's move into my number 6, and that is Force Awakens. I think it's the best out of the trilogy that we've gotten so far. Really, really fun movie. I think it's a really good movie, actually. I think it's better than, obviously, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, as I previously mentioned. In general, I think the casting is great. This is the best Rey that we've gotten. This is the best Finn that we've gotten as well. Finn, I love Finn in this movie. That's why I also have bad feelings about the last 2, because Finn was just so poorly utilized in both Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi. But Kylo's a good villain. Han's death like really hits you really hard because he's so good in the movie. Okay, we'll talk about some. Keep putting in your questions. We'll talk about it at the end of the video. But in general, I think Force Awakens super fun movie. It is a bit of a retread from New Hope, but also we're 7 movies into the franchise. I don't know how much more original we're going to get with Star Wars, because we have 11 movies now. They can't go. Not every movie can be original, and I think that some people have to realize that it's tough to make 7 movies in a franchise that are good. Yeah. And Force Awakens, I think JJ just brought everyone back to the positive side of Star Wars as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Your number 6.
My number 6 is Attack of the Clones.
Oh my
This is
God.
where I feel like we really get controversial with me.
Jesus.
It's a fun movie.
Oh wow.
Hayden Christensen is perfect for the role.
Oh.
I think Natalie Portman was good in it. The writing was a little spotty, right? I'll give you that. You know,
A little bit.
wasn't the best. You know, there's some creepy stuff, but with that creepy stuff, you have to think. You have to think here. One of the Jedi's rules is that they can't you know, be with people in romantic and physical relationships. And the jet like a kid, a 19-year-old kid who doesn't understand how to flirt with people because he or be emotional with people, or compliment people in that way because he's never learned how to do it. You know, he's never like his only like father figure. Well,
Mm-hmm.
like the one who was supposed to train him dies, one, and who would have helped him with this dies, and who he trusted more than Obi-Wan is dead. Then
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan comes in and tries to play dad, but he can't because he's so young and they're closer in age, and um, Obi-Wan doesn't really know how to do it. It was kind of just thrown on him,
Mm-hmm.
and we get to really see the complications of that in the next two movies of the prequels, which I really enjoyed, and I really loved the dynamic between them. And I wish that we would have gotten to see some of like the more friendly moments, which I feel like were thrown into Clone Wars. They were best friends,
Yeah.
but I don't think I think the reason why, or at least the reason why I like to think of why Anakin was saying some weird stuff in that scene, which is like the worst scene in the movie to me, is because he just doesn't he was never taught how to do that. He was never really shown how to socially interact with people properly. Um, so that's kind of my thoughts on it. But the very end is the best part. It makes the movie for me. I love the whole fight in the arena and the battle of Geonosis and the fight between Count Dooku and Yoda and all of them. That was so sick. And of course, like
Yeah.
with Jango Fett chasing him around in Camino and all that. It's fun and I love it.
Yeah. My number 5 is Rogue One. Now heading to the top 5. I love this movie. It's my favorite Disney Star Wars movie that we have gotten so far. I think that it feels like Star Wars. Like I feel like we're back to the original trilogy, in my opinion, when you see Rogue One, because it fits so perfectly into New Hope, which I'm sure we're going to talk about very soon. But I think that Krennic, as you said, Ben Mendelsohn for me is top 5 favorite actors working in Hollywood for me. Everything he's in, I want to see because he's just amazing. Vader, arguably the best Vader we've gotten so far, really. Really great stuff. I think the problem with Rogue One for me that holds it back from being greatness is they don't give a lot of characterization for the squad itself. If they feel very rushed and in together, and it feels like you don't even know who they are throughout. Like I can't remember the names of the people, and I love the movie. Other than Jyn Erso and Cassian, I'll be interested to see how they do a Cassian Andor series, but I think it would be interesting. But I think it's the best third act that we've gotten in Star Wars. I think it's such a powerful, once they go to, oh God, the planet at the end. Well, whatever. If anyone knows in the chat, you can definitely tell. But it's an amazing scene. Ty, top 5 here.
My top 5 is A New Hope.
Nice.
Yeah, I think out of the original trilogy, I think it's the weakest. But it's still I love it, and it's the movie that started it all, and it created such like a new like it just adds like so much wonder and hope into the and it's just so I love it so much. It's Star Wars. It's the first
Yeah.
one. And it's suspenseful, and Darth Vader is so cool in it, and Obi-Wan, and their fight is really cool. And if you haven't, you have to go see the edited version of the Darth Vader Obi-Wan fight on the Death Star.
Oh yes.
On YouTube, look it up. It's so cool. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah. My number 4 is New Hope. So echo everything you said. Great movie, great way to start the franchise. I do think it's the weakest out of the original trilogy, which is a controversial opinion. But I do think that I still love the movie. Vader, not being the big bad is what I actually liked about the movie too. That Tarkin was kind of like Vader was kind of like underneath his wing. Was really interesting. You get intros to all the iconic characters here. Obi-Wan is really good in here too. I think the movie for me is way too fast for its own good. And it's also obviously because of the times, the lightsaber battle is the worst we've gotten so far, obviously, because I'm not blaming the movie. I'm just saying that's obviously a weakness of it. So that's my number 4. So what's your number 3? Number 4, I mean, sorry, number 4.
My number 4 is Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi.
Me too.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi is awesome. I love the final fight with Darth Vader, the Emperor, and Luke. So much rage in Luke, and what was really cool about this is if you look in Return of the Jedi, and Luke decides to stay on the light side, and he throws his lightsaber away, he steps into the light, and when we see Kylo Ren in Force Awakens, when he's about to kill Han Solo, we have a similar thing where half of his face is lit up and half of it is in darkness. And when he kills Han, you see him go into the darkness and kind of like, I guess, what's the word? Commit to the dark side, I guess. Kind of it chooses his side, like officially. He's like, this is my path, which is really cool to see there. And love Luke's green lightsaber in this. Love the Jabba Palace stuff. The reason why it's lower for me on the list is because at the very beginning in Jabba's palace, I meant Jabba's sail barge stuff, but in Jabba's palace, the plan that Luke unfolds seems a little complex to me, like overly complex. Like he has to send the droids in. Did he plan on them getting captured? And if he did, then like it's too much. It's way too complicated for me.
And John Paul, by the way, we're going to answer this question at the end of our rankings. It's a great question. But
so that's kind of like where I'm at with it.
My number 3 is also Return of the Jedi. Just to save time, I'll just agree with everything Ty said. I actually love the intro. That was really good, and the ending. Ty basically just nailed everything on the head. So our top 2 here. Actually, you need your number 3. Sorry, you need your number 3, Ty.
My number 3 is Revenge of the Sith. I love Revenge of the Sith.
That's my number 2.
The whole way through, I am on my seat watching General Grievous fight. Amazing. The fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan, amazing. The Count Dooku fight, amazing. We got 3 lightsaber fights in there, and they were all so good. And of course, we got our classic lines. Hello there, and that whole bit. I love it. It just, it's such a good movie, and it's so good for Star Wars. And I love the look of the clone troopers, phase 2, for their helmets and armor and stuff like that. And I think it's really sick. And Order 66, heartbreaking, especially now that we know like what's going on with Ahsoka because of Clone Wars and what's going on with all the other Jedi and Rex and all that stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith is my number 2. I love this movie. Like as a kid, like growing up, not really knowing what film was really, this was always my number 1 Star Wars movie. Yes, Ewan is my favorite part of Star Wars. Might be the best casting I think we've ever gotten. 4 fights. Don't forget Mace Palpatine. Mace Palpatine was not a great fight.
Oh my bad. I still love that fight. I think Mace is a badass, and I think the like if you just put yourself in that situation, like this old dude just starts like freaking running at you with a freaking laser and starts like screaming, and he like freaking fights, like flies in the air. Yoda Palpatine was a little odd for me. I understand what they were going for. They were going for like this like wizard fight with only force powers, but we don't want to see that. We want to see lightsabers.
And yes, we will talk about the Mandalorian at the end. Keep putting your questions in, guys. As many questions as you guys can fit in. So you're number 2, and then we both have the same number 1. So let's go into your explanation, sir, for your number 2.
My number 2 is Empire Strikes Back. We do
no.
Number 1. Empire Strikes Back was my number one for the longest time. And it's the classic. It's the one that I feel like everyone thinks of. It is it's amazing. You know what I mean? It's the fight between Luke and Vader, and Luke's training, and the fight between Luke and the Vader and the fake Vader in Dagobah. That's awesome. Just the entire thing. And Lando is amazing. I love Lando. Um, the part where Lando brings them into the dining hall, and Darth Vader's already waiting there, and he blocks Han Solo's laser gun and force pulls it to him. Badass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Empire is my number one. I think it's probably one of the greatest movies ever made of all time. It's my number two movie of all time. It's so perfect. It's so perfect. The score is the best. I actually think Revenge of the Sith is the best score we've gotten in Star Wars. I think Lando, as you said, great. Vader versus Luke in Cloud City, fantastic stuff. Just Luke training with Yoda. Like Yoda was amazing, amazing.
Also the Hoth battle.
Also, thank you so much for watching this. That is awesome. Keep going, Ty.
The Hoth battle. So all the entire.
Oh yeah, Hoth is awesome.
I love every single second of that movie. There is not a second of that movie where I go, "This is a bad movie."
Yeah, and what's funny now is that people across the country now, like when movie theaters are opening, they're showing Empire Strikes Back for a good reason, because Empire Strikes Back for me is the greatest. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Mandalorian.
Don't worry about it.
We're gonna talk about Mandalorian in just a little bit. And Ty's gonna talk about his number one, and then we're gonna go into like a 5 to 10 minute Q&A. So Ty, your number one.
My number one is the most controversial thing in the world.
Thank you.
Everyone will hate me after this. My number one is Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
Uh-oh.
I love it so much. I love Darth Maul. Ray Park as Darth Maul is badass. Liam Neeson, badass. Ewan McGregor, badass. I think it's so cool. I love all of just the Naboo stuff, like not the space stuff. That I don't really enjoy watching. It's just like get back to Qui-Gon and Darth Maul and all them. But I like the Battle of Naboo, like on the ground. I like the whole Trade Federation stuff. The beginning is awesome for me. I don't know why. Like I just think it's so Star Wars, and the lightsaber fight in it is my favorite action sequence of all time. When we see Darth Maul ignite his second lightsaber, it was so cool. And the Tatooine fight between Qui-Gon and Darth Maul was awesome, because it was just kind of like a foreshadow of what's to come, and it was just of Darth Maul's power. And what was really cool that we got to see is that Qui-Gon was more of a master of force abilities, and less of using a lightsaber, and Darth Maul was obviously a master swordsman. And not really in tune with the force as much. But and that's I feel like why Qui-Gon died. But I also feel like that Qui-Gon knew that he was going to die when he was like going into it, wading into the, like he knew what was going to happen, I think, at least. And it's just thinking about all that, and just the performances of Liam and Ewan was amazing, and their dynamic was awesome. I don't know. I love the score, all of it. It's dope.
Yeah.
I wish Qui-Gon defeated Darth Maul too. Then none of it would have happened. Anakin would have gone and destroyed the Sith, and
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. So now this is how the show will work now. Thank you guys for joining us. We're now going to do a Q&A. So if you guys have questions in the comment section, we're going to go a bit over. We're supposed to go to till 12, but because we got a lot of questions, I think, Ty, if it's okay with you, we can go over like 5 or 10 minutes. Is that okay with you, Ty?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so we're gonna go over like 5 or 10 minutes. Here I'm gonna go through the entire comment section. Keep putting in your questions. 5 minutes. We're each gonna talk about something. Now, your questions. Only questions that we are answering are Star Wars related questions or DCE related questions. So if you were talking about Marvel or anything like that, that will not be answered on this video. So let's go through it here, Ty. Let's see here. Let's see. Ellie said Heath Ledger is a better Joker, but Jared Leto is a bit creepier. I don't know about that, but I think Jared Leto's a completely different Joker. I'm not sure he's creepy, but he's definitely off for sure.
I think that Jared Leto takes the craziness to the next level, and it's a different type of crazy than Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
I think Heath Ledger's Joker is more of a ticking time bomb, and Jared Leto is just straight up like insane kind of thing, just open about it, completely fine with it.
I think Heath Ledger's on a whole other level too.
Yeah, and I think Heath Ledger is the best Joker. He is amazing as in that role, and yeah.
I agree. Birds of Prey is worse than Suicide Squad. I don't agree. I think we both talked about it earlier. We both had Suicide Squad number 8. We don't have to get into that much. We already explained that, but interesting point you made there. Here's a question for you, Ty. Let's see if you want to answer this one. I've got Chilling Movie says, I got a question for Ty. I want to ask, how did you get into the industry? I'm an aspiring actor. My acting coach is helping me reach my dream.
I got into the industry by being born into it. My sister did it. My brother did it. And I just kind of got into it that way. And just to, I guess, a little bit of advice for you is just you're gonna hear no over and over and over again, and you just gotta suck it up and keep going, because if not, then if and it's not a easy life either. It's stressful, and it's long hours, and movie sets aren't as like fun and glamorous as everyone thinks they are. So you really, really, really have to want it, and you really have to want to do it, because if you don't, then it's just not going to be a good life for you, and it's not going to be fun.
Love the answer. We already talked about this already, Chilling Movies, but we both had the same answer. Our favorite is Man of Steel. Our least favorite is Suicide Squad. We already talked about that. Let's see what else we got here. See, this question's tough, Ellie. Who do you recast as Mira? I think is what you meant for Aquaman.
I'm gonna let you answer this one, Max, because I don't know.
Woof. Yeah, this is a really tough question. I would actually enjoy seeing like a Jennifer Lawrence being in this role. I know she's already done. Now, she probably wouldn't do it because she wasn't really giving a crap about the later X-Men movies, but I think casting-wise, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm not going to go to that one. I love Justice League, but it would be better if Superman didn't destroy the villain, which other heroes couldn't do anything to do. Okay. So we already did thoughts on Wonder Woman 84. What do you think? Here we go. What do you think about the Robert Pattinson Batman?
I think it's interesting. Definitely not my favorite. I feel like there could have been a lot of other actors that would have been better, but I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see his take on the character and how it pans out.
Me too. The cast sounds really great. I'm a big believer in Robert Pattinson. His last couple of roles have been really fantastic, and I think he can move into the role really good. Are you guys going to do more of this live stuff? Possibly. Just depends on what our schedules are and how if we both want to keep doing it, for sure. The more you guys support us, the more I will want to do it, for sure. Let's see. Here we go. What do you think about Clone Wars final season? I absolutely loved it to death. Ty and I watched the last episode together via Zoom, via FaceTime, and it was unbelievable. Now, I think the first 8 episodes for me are fine to solid. I think the first Bad Batch storyline was good. The second one with Ahsoka and the sisters wasn't great for me. But once we got into those, are probably the best Star Wars we've gotten, in my opinion, since Revenge of the Sith, was the 4 last episodes of Clone Wars.
I agree with that. I think I disliked the storyline with Ahsoka and the sisters more than you. It's just repetitive and unnecessary, and I love Ahsoka as a character, but I want to see Anakin and Obi-Wan more, just because those are the characters that I like, and I would have liked to see Ahsoka with them, and interacting with them. But I understand that the tie-in with Revenge of the Sith was important and it was awesome. But I feel like we still could have gotten a little more of them. And it is the Clone Wars. and they dedicated what 4 episodes to something that was unnecessary of our my favorite TV show, that of like my childhood. So I don't know. It's just, but I loved the Bad Batch and Siege of Mandalore. Siege of Mandalore is some of my favorite episodes of Clone Wars, and some of my favorite Star Wars moments. So
yeah, I agree. Clone Wars is it. What's your favorite Star Wars game? Nandy plays with a lot of great questions. I think, honestly, the games that I have played, I really enjoyed Fallen Order. I'm really excited for Squadrons, but I think Battlefront really struggled with. I'm a big story guy, and I don't just like to just play to play. I want to. It's such a Star Wars. I want to hear the story, and I think Battlefront had a weakness of story that Fallen Order does an amazing job with. But Ty, do you have an opinion on that?
yeah, I love Fallen Order and Battlefront. Battlefront, the new Battlefront 2. I'd say my favorite game though is Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is an MMO, multiplayer, and like that game is so fun. It's very story driven. Max, I think you would like it a lot. It's very consuming, but they're different like classes that you can play as, and they each have their own story. So it's really cool to just see the Star Wars universe more and explore it more and be a part of it. And that's what I love about it. So
Mandalorian, we both loved it, I think. I think we're really pumped for a season 2, especially
with all
we're not gonna spoil Clone Wars, but there's a lot of characters in Clone Wars that we talk about a lot that could possibly be in a Mandalorian season 2 as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Let's see. We have about, I'll give us 4 minutes here, and then we'll call it a day.
Cool.
Let's see. Yeah, so we can talk about it. We kind of alluded to this earlier. Will Dwayne Johnson direct again? I think he's done. Not just because I think he would like to make more movies, but I think just because what the fan base did, not just to his movie, but probably to him personally, would probably not give him any passion to make another one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that Star Wars fans and the fandom is very passionate and a little bit toxic at times. And when something happens that they don't like, they really get pissed off about it. And I mean, like, I'm jealous. I'm not jealous. I'm guilty of that too. And I mean, like, not to the extent of what some people do. Some people are just brutal. But yeah, I don't think he's definitely gonna want to jump on so soon to do that with the backlash of that of the last year.
Let's go. Let's finish. We've almost done here with all the questions. Thank you guys for all these questions. They're really good questions. I love this question, Ty. Ellie says, what underrated superhero from DC would you love to see a solo movie from? So we're already going to get a Flash movie, which is coming out. I'm personally you said superheroes and not villain.
I want to see a Nightwing movie.
Okay. Yep.
That or Green Arrow, but Nightwing more. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think we need to see that in a movie.
I'll go with yours then. I think that's a good one too.
And I think like a Michael Keaton Batman cameo in it would be really cool too.
Yep. Completely agree with you. Don't want to see Chris O'Donnell though. Do not want to see Chris O'Donnell come back as Robin. We have 2 questions left, and then we're gonna wrap up the show. How do you guys feel about? Oh no, actually, let's go back to this one. Sorry. What is your favorite Star Wars scene? That's a great question. What is your favorite Star Wars scene?
Mine, I think it's pretty obvious. Mine's the fight between Qui-Gon, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan.
I mean, there's a lot of great Star Wars scenes, but for me, it's personally just Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting in the Revenge of the Sith is for me my favorite scene. I think obviously I'm Your Father is probably the best scene, but I think my favorite scene is Revenge of the Sith for sure.
I think that that the Anakin Obi-Wan fight would have been mine if we got the whole little like emotional bit that they put in there, like the extra emotion that they put in there about. Did you see that? How like Obi-Wan was gonna say some other stuff and Anakin was like, screaming?
No.
Yeah, so like Anakin screams for help, and then Obi-Wan's like, "No, I can't say, or I can't save you," and then he like whispers, "I won't save you," or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if they put that in there, I probably would have lost it. Like that is just, it's so heartbreaking to hear that, and I think that if we saw more like of that kind of like sad emotion instead of like an pissed off Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
which isn't Ewan's fault at all. I feel like it was more of the writing. But yeah,
And I've heard this a bunch of times. Old Republic people love the Old Republic, and
yes.
I just didn't get a chance to play it. And our last question here: how do you guys feel about Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn? Did you like her in the role? I think we both kind of answered that earlier. We both absolutely. I think I'll just say for me, I love her as Harley Quinn. I don't think anybody. It's gonna be tough for someone else to step in that role because she just is. George Lucas still involved? No, he is not. But in general, I think Margot Robbie was kind of born to play that role. And I actually want to see her continue to play that. We're going to see her play that in Suicide Squad 2. And hopefully we get a better Birds of Prey sequel because I think them as a unit could be really good. Just I think that movie just didn't click as much as it should have.
Yeah. I think Max pretty much covered it all. I don't really think anyone else could play that role. So
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right. So that will do it for today. We're going to promote ourselves really quick here. Let's go through it. So Instagram is right below for both of us. Instagram is at Ty Simpkins for Ty, at Mac Denver for me, one word. And then Twitter as well is Ty Simpkins. It's capitalized actor as well is his Twitter, and mine's Dinenberg Max, one word. Ty, anything else you want to promote here?
Nothing. Just go follow my Instagram and Twitter, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
like and subscribe on this channel and video and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Depending on how you guys support the video, I think Ty and I are going to talk about probably doing this again. And if there are any franchises that you want to see us go into, that would be really great. I think Ty and I are probably going to do just Fast and Furious is probably going to be our next episode here. I'm not sure when that will be, but I think we both really, Ty is a huge Fast and Furious person. So I think getting into that would be fun, right, Ty?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Fast and Furious. So yeah, I'd love to do that.
So that will be our next one. I'm not sure if it'll be next weekend or the weekend following that, but it just depends on both our schedules. As a whole, this is Max Talks Movies, my YouTube channel. If this is your first time joining us here on Max Talks Movies, please hit that subscribe button. We've gotten a lot of subscribers since Ty was going to be on the show today. Hit that subscribe button. I post movie reviews, shooting platform reviews, TV show reviews, all that type of stuff, and rankings on here. I'm doing a Harry Potter ranking tomorrow on this channel. So please join us for that. And also hit that like button. The more you guys like the video, the more everyone can see this live stream. So this has been a 1 hour and 15-minute stream with Ty Simpkins and me, Max Denberg, live on air with Ty and Max. Episode 1 is finally, yes, we will. Can you do Disney movies soon? We're definitely interested in that. Pirates of the Caribbean, that's another great recommendation. Keep putting your recommendations. If you're watching this on the replay, also leave a comment down below. Do you like the video and do you agree with our opinions? Well, this is a great way to end it. Nandy Play saying, may the force be with you, Max and Ty. Thank you guys so much. That will close it out for episode 1 of Live on Air with Max and Ty.